What's going on, everybody? Liam Mitchell back with another video with my friend Chuck. Chuck, how you doing?
It's a beautiful day on the first day of November. Hope you had a good Halloween, and boy, I sure hope the Bucks have some spooks left in them for the Green Bay. Not the good.
Yeah.
Can we start over?
Think, think we met the Giants there, huh, Chuck?
We absolutely did. My goodness, I've got a screen here, and I'm watching some Packers footage just for kicks and giggles. And my goodness, I need to stop having whiskey with my morning coffee.
No problem, man. So, before we get into the Giants game, just a quick recap. First time I've talked to you since the Raiders game. Great win, man. 45-20. Tom Brady absolutely lit up the sky, spread the ball around. Gronk had a second straight good week. Oh,
Not just regular Tom Brady, but your reigning NFC Offensive Player of the Month, Tom Brady.
oh
That is,
yeah.
I believe, the first time in the team's history that a Buccaneer offensive player has won NFC Offensive Player of the Month.
I don't know that for sure, but I think that sounds about right. So I believe
We're not usually an elite offensive team. We've won some weekly honors, but for a guy to do it over an entire month, that's out of character for your favorite defensive minded team.
I believe what you're saying. So, all right, man. The defense, Devin White just flew around. Just again, it's still I think the number one defense in the NFL right now.
It
Just so
is. It's
thrilled.
number one against the run. It's number seven, I think, against the pass. Number one overall. We're climbing up top 10 in points scored, top 10 in sacks, top 10 in pressure rate, top 10 in adjusted over situational ratings. This is a very capable defense. And there's some saying about what defenses win. I can't remember, but it's a good time to be a fan.
So tomorrow night, Monday Night Football, Bucks Giants at MetLife Stadium. The Giants aren't very good. They're 1-6. Daniel
Bill
Jones,
Parcells said,
real
"What
quick.
you are, what your record says you are." They're not. No, they're not good.
Yeah, I look. There's a lot of games that can be considered trap games, and I get it. I mean, they're an NFL football team. I think this game is going to be a downright blowout. I'm talking like my score prediction. I like to make bold statements. Uh, I got the Bucks winning this game by like 30 points, and I'm not even kidding. Uh,
Well, here's why I think that makes sense. You don't expect the Giants' offense to do much against our defense. So, with that said, pretty much any points that the Bucks are able to score on offense, that shouldn't be offset much. So, a 30-point win. I mean, we already beat Green Bay. There's the Green Bay reference that I was trying to make
there
earlier. We
we go.
already beat them by 28. We beat the Raiders by 25, and I think those teams are light years ahead of the Giants. So no, this is a game you're supposed to blow out. Now the question is, can we execute?
Yeah, this is what the good teams they blow out teams like the Giants. I think you're literally looking at this is the Chiefs Jets game of the NFC. I think you're looking at the best team in the NFC versus the worst team in the NFC. So, I mean, let's look at this. In terms of yards, the Bucks have the top-ranked defense. The Giants have the 13th ranked defense. Offensively, with the Bucks have the 15th offense. Giants are 31st. The Bucks have a +5 turnover differential. The Giants have a -4. I think from every position across the board, quarterback, running back, receiver, offensive lineman, D line, linebackers, DBs, everything. I think the Bucks win every single position on the field. Can you agree?
I'm with you. I think that obviously the game is won and lost in the trenches. I think one of the few things that the Giants do have going for them is that they are. I won't say that they're equal to the Bucks, but they are adept at slowing down the running game. That is, given the Bucks' proclivity to establish the run early, I could see a scenario in which this game stays close in the first half simply because the Bucks can be stubborn at times. Byron Leftwich, Bruce Arians, they want to try and establish Ronald Jones. They want to get Leonard Fournette going. And against a team with probably 3 or 4 quality defensive tackles in the Giants, they could go heavy up front and just force the Bucks to pass. Now, the Bucks have the tools to do that. Even without Chris Godwin, even without the the forthcoming Antonio Brown, the Bucs should have enough weapons to beat a Giants defense that is not great against the pass either. They don't have the linebackers to do it. James Bradbury has been a bit of a bugaboo for Mike Evans, so it'll be interesting to watch that matchup. But you just don't see anybody there that's ready to shut down Rob Gronkowski or shut down Scotty Miller or shut down an up and coming Tyler Johnson out of the slot. This looks like a place where I can definitely agree with you. Roster for roster, the Giants are not in the same league as the Bucs.
Yeah, if I had one matchup I'm most looking forward to watching and keeping my eye on, it's that Mike Evans James Bradbury matchup, because like Marshawn Lattimore, James Bradbury has given Mike Evans some troubles in the past. He's had some really good games against him. So without Chris Godwin, it's going to be interesting to see. But I do think Mike bounces back this week. I know a lot of fans were actually curious as to why Mike wasn't really. I mean, he's only had 3 catches in the last 2 weeks. My opinion doesn't really matter. We've blown out each of our last 2 opponents, so as long as we're winning, it doesn't matter. But I know some people were concerned that going down the road, they want to see Mike Evans get the ball more. But I think he will. With all the targets we have on this team, I really don't think it's a concern. There's going to be weeks that he goes off. There's going to be weeks that Chris Godwin goes off. There's going to be weeks that Antonio Brown's probably going to go off. So I think this is one of those weeks, even with James Bradbury, I think Mike Evans is going to get the best of him and have a pretty solid.
I think when we talk about Mike Evans, we talk about the 6 straight seasons to begin his career with 1,000 yards receiving. And when I think about that statistic, I think about the Week 17 matchup back in 2017 between the Bucs and the Saints. And that was a game that we'll remember for Jameis Winston. He had Chris Godwin on a deep sideline route. At the end of the game, they win the game with like 10 seconds left or something like that. And in that game, Mike Evans was trying to get over the 1,000-yard mark. And Jameis Winston threw him about 12 passes, and about 3 of them were intercepted. And that was a big reason why the Bucs were trailing in that game. Jameis Winston always wanted to throw the ball to Mike Evans. And I think that had a lot to do with him getting 1,000 yards in each one of his first 6 seasons. Tom Brady is not going to force the football to Mike Evans. It's just not who he is as a player, not after 21 seasons in the league. And that is why you're seeing him just throw the ball to whoever's open. Whether that's Tanner Hudson, whether that's Cam Brate, whether that's Scotty Miller, whether that's Rob Gronkowski, he has got weapons that know how to get open. Mike Evans is a luxury for him. When he needs Mike Evans is going to be there. Not even to speak about the fact that he's still playing on less than 2 good ankles. I wake up at night with cold sweats thinking about the way his ankle was bent against the LA Chargers. And it can't feel good again. He is a 230-pound receiver, and he's on a bad wheel. And it's possible that might continue to bother him for the rest of this 2020 campaign. He can still play. We've seen that he can still get open. He can still make the big catches. He can get deep. He can make acrobatic catches in the end zone. We've seen that since the LA game. But it's got to be bothering him, and you wonder how much that's affecting his output as well.
Yeah. And, to people that are worried about Mike about Mike being concerned and being frustrated about not getting the ball, he seems like one of the most selfless players we've ever had in Tampa. He's taken a pay cut. He said time and time again, he just wants to win. He knows we've got other talented guys here. He knows what Tom Brady's not going to force the ball. I would not be concerned for a second about Mike Evans complaining about not getting the ball. He's not Antonio Brown. He's not.
The most recent evidence that you could probably find is at the very end of that Raiders game. The 3 scores, I think Chris Godwin got 1 to help separate things, and then Ronald Jones got 1 to make it 38. Final touch to that touchdown of the Raiders game late in the 4th quarter was kind of a low-high concept they ran to Tyler Johnson crossing in the back of the end zone. And the first person to congratulate Tyler Johnson was Mike Evans. He is excited to be on a team that's crushing opponents. And it might be different if we were losing, if we were 3-4 and he still wasn't getting the ball. Goodness only knows what he might say. But we're 5-2. He's never been 5-2 in his career. And anyone that's ever played any kind of team sport can tell you, winning is fun. Winning, you play, as Herm Edwards famously said, to win the game. And now Mike Evans gets to taste what that feels like.
And let's not forget, he's got 6 touchdowns, people. So it's not like he's been getting in the end zone. I don't know if he still is. I know for a while there he was leading the league in touchdown receptions. So
He's definitely among the league leaders. I think he has been surpassed. He hasn't had a huge output, like we've said in the last couple of games, but still, we've played 7 games. He's got 6 touchdowns, so he is on pace to break his own franchise record of 12 touchdowns, which he's gotten twice, one in 14 and one in 16. So it'll be definitely interesting to see exactly how his season continues to unfold here. Antonio Brown will obviously affect the pass output. It'll also be intriguing to see exactly how long it takes Chris Godwin to get back.
yeah.
Right now, I believe I was reading this morning, he's got about a 50-50 chance to play in the Saints game. So long as we don't take any injuries tomorrow against the Giants, I wouldn't mind sitting Chris Godwin down for an extra week to heal up his hand and also make sure that his hamstring's 100% ready to go for the stretch run.
And we've got Antonio Brown coming in that Saints game. So, yeah, we might be able to have Chris rest. If not, if he does play, man, the arsenal Tom has. Woo!
It's an embarrassment of riches. I don't have Madden 21 yet. I only have Madden 20. And so I was sitting there trying to find Antonio Brown. He's just not in Madden 20. So I can't add him to my roster, which stinks because I went ahead and benched O.J. Howard, since he's got the Achilles now. But that will be a fun 4 wide receiver set when the time comes.
Well, the Bucs got to get revenge for that loss last year, blowing an 18-point lead, and Matt Gay kicking it wide of the upright as time expired. JPP, I know he wants it. He wants to eat. He's been saying it all week that he's going to kill these guys. This is the 3rd time, actually, because we've played him. Well, he didn't play in the game last year, though. He didn't.
No, he's coming back from that back injury. So,
he did play against him in 2018, but he gets another chance tomorrow night, and it's on the national stage on Monday Night Football. I'm sure
it is. And he'll be going up against an underperforming and underwhelming Giants offensive line, one that has struggled to protect Daniel Jones. Their number 4 overall pick, Andrew Thomas, I believe through 6 games has already given up something like 25 pressures. He's given up, I think, 6 sacks on his own. So between Shaq Barrett and JPP, you'd like to think we can get some pressure with 4 guys. Jones has also fumbled the ball, I think, the most in the league in his first 2 years. I think he's up to 21 fumbles. He's got 7 interceptions so far in the young season against only 5 passing touchdowns. You mentioned that JPP didn't play in that game. Devin White didn't play in that game either. And I'll tell you who did play a lot in that game was Vernon Hargreaves. He is obviously no longer with the team. You've seen Jamel Dean come on as a player. You've seen Sean Murphy-Bunting continue to grow. And I believe that you've seen Carlton Davis blossom into one of the league's top cornerbacks. I think that this is a team that is uniquely talented and uniquely suited to deal a decisive blow of retribution against Daniel Jones and the New York Football Giants on Monday night. And I for one, am excited to watch it. I'd like to see another defensive touchdown, maybe even 2, but who's being greedy?
This is a wildly different team, Buccaneers team, than we saw in week 3 of last year. Like you said, we didn't have JPP. We didn't have Devin White. Shaq Barrett went off against these guys last year. I think he had 4 sacks against him.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if he has another huge day on Monday. Man, I just think I think Daniel Jones had only 1 game in his career that he started in the NFL that he hasn't turned the ball over. So I do think we're going to put the pressure on with this struggling offensive line. We were up towards the top in the league in sacks. We're going to get in Daniel Jones' face. They're going to have to throw. As everyone knows, you're going to have to win with Daniel Jones' arm because you cannot run on this team. I think actually Scott Smith from Bucs.com. So the Bucs have had 13 straight games that they've held opponents to less than 100 yards. I mentioned that, rushing the ball. The NFL record was set by the Eagles back in 91 and 92 with 15. So if the Bucs can do it for a few more weeks, I think that's a pretty awesome stat. It would be 16 straight games holding opponents to under 100 rushing yards. That is an awesome stat for our defense.
I think for years now, Jason Light has tried to build a defensive roster that at first could shut down the run. It is a passing league, so you do need to get to the quarterback. You do need to be able to knock down passes. But if you can't stop the run, teams won't throw. I think we've seen that teams that struggle to stop the run don't get a lot of wins just because teams are constantly in third and short. They're in manageable down and distance situations, and that makes it easier to throw out of. Third and 4, there's 1,000 different ways to get 5 yards. Whereas with third and 9, third and 10, third and 12, suddenly you're a little bit more one-dimensional. And I think now we're finally seeing the fruit of that. Last year, we were very good against the run. We struggled in the first half of the year to defend the pass with any consistency. And now as our young secondary has come along, we're seeing Mike Edwards become something of a turnover machine. He hasn't played a lot because you've got Antoine Winfield with the free safety, you've got Jordan Whitehead at strong, and yet when he gets on the field, I believe he's got less than 70 snaps so far in the season. He's already been a part of 5 different turnovers. So that's about one game's sample size when you accumulate all the snaps. Mike Edwards is a guy that's going to start forcing himself onto the field more and more. And I think if you get Mike Edwards and Antoine Winfield in the same defensive backfield, that makes me as a defensive football fan salivate.
I was really happy to see Antoine get his first career interception last week. Great to see. Of course, Mike Edwards would have had his third of the year had it not been called back for that offsides penalty, but which I don't think affected the play at all. I don't think Derek Carr I think that was a legitimate pass, so it was a bummer that got called back. But great to see Antoine get that interception.
Yeah, he dropped one against Rodgers the week before. So it just comes down to health. So much of it comes down to health every year. And it's kind of an unsettling truth because, well, our favorite players could go down on any given snap. But this is still, even with the loss of Vita Vea, even with the loss of O.J. Howard, even with the struggling, injury situations that we've had with Scotty Miller, with Chris Godwin, with Mike Evans, this is still a talented football team with the guys that they can bring. If they can stay healthy, there's a lot of reason for optimism here. It's an exciting time to be a Bucs fan for the first time, and to quote Frozen, for the first time in forever.
It absolutely is. What do you got as a score prediction tomorrow? I'll give you mine second. I already said 30, but I got it exact.
You did say 30. I expect a lot less out of the Giants offense. I do not feel like we're going to give up an 80-yard run to Daniel Jones, though obviously we've seen he is capable when you just abandon that side of the field. I will say 41-10. I think we get 7 scoring drives, and I think they get 2, and I think that crosses your 30-point threshold that you set.
I'm laughing because every single week we're a point off. I had 42-10. A little, and so you know what? We're being real bold here, and I love that. I don't like these boring scores that Cynthia Freeland on NFL Network gives every week. It's like 24-21 for every single game every week. You know what? You got to take some chances.
You do.
And I think this is the best team in the NFC versus the worst team in the NFC. I got 42-10 Bucs. You know what? Maybe it'll be closer than that. If the Bucs lose, well, I'm going to come here extremely upset. I'll eat my words. I'd be shocked, to say the least,
well,
if this Giants.
If Tom Brady wakes up on Monday morning and tests positive for COVID, maybe, yes. Maybe. But if the Buccaneers find a way to lose to the Giants, and they will have to find a way, there will be a challenge in losing to the Giants. They'll deserve it. And we will have some serious questions to answer going forward as they will play the Saints 5 days later on short rest.
That's how confident I am, because you just said it. Even if Brady went down with COVID, with Blaine Gabbert in there, obviously it wouldn't be 42-10, but I still think the Bucs would win this game with Gabbert in there as the starter. I'm so confident in this one. I'm excited. It's Monday Night Football. The Bucs are not on Monday night a lot. They have a chance to go 6-2. The Buccaneers have not been 6-2 since
their Super Bowl
championship. Posters right behind you, Chuck. It's been an extremely long time. I think they've only ever started 6-2 2 times in their history. And the other one was 1979. So we have a chance to tie the best 8-game start in Bucs history. Let's hope they can do it. Monday night, national stage. The national stage the following week against the Saints on Sunday night. Carolina game, and then national stage yet again on Monday night against the Rams the week after that. So So
We're going to
exciting
have the
time to be
whole
a Bucs
nation's eyeballs. Everybody gets to see the Bucks, and we just have to keep our fingers crossed that they put their best foot forward and show out the way that we know they can.
Very exciting time to be a Bucs fan. Thank you guys for watching. Let us know your score predictions down below in the comments. We went bold this week. We got a huge win from the Bucs by quite a few possessions. Let us know. Thank you guys, and we'll be back for another video. Let's go Bucs.
Go Bucks!